friends. Welcome to episode 29 of the Kpop Weekly Podcast with Emily Mallon. I'm your host, and it's so good to be back. I'm so happy to be back with y'all this week. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for understanding my unreliable schedule right now. Things have been a little bit chaotic on the personal side. And with my dog, Freddie. So thank you guys so much for reaching out and sending Freddie lots of prayers and love. We're doing okay with this new diabetic thing. For those of you who don't know, my dog recently was diagnosed with diabetes, which means I have to give him shots, and it's a whole production. It's very difficult. So thank you to everyone, my loyal listeners and viewers, for reaching out and for sending us positive vibes. I really appreciate you coming back and sticking by me, even though I've been taking weeks off here and there recently. So thank you so much. It's great to be back. If this is your first time listening, you picked a good week. This week, I have big reviews for you. A new single from Stray Kids, a new single from aespa, and a comeback from ZEROBASEONE. I'm going to give you full reviews on all of that. Plus, there's so much going on in the K-pop world. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Newjeans and HYBE. It's a mess. Things are a mess. I leave for 2 weeks and the world is falling apart. Everything's a mess. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on the business side of K-pop during K-pop news. I want to talk about what's going on with HYBE. Let's get into some poll questions though. Every week I ask my lovely community of listeners and viewers questions about K-pop. It could be stuff that I reviewed and talked about in the previous week's episode. Maybe I want your opinions before recording next week's episode, or maybe it's just something totally random and I'm just genuinely wondering your opinions on it. So if you'd like to participate, click on the Patreon link in the description of this podcast. It's free and it's really a wonderful community. So sign up, join us. I feel proud that I've cultivated a nice community of K-pop fans. So please join us. We're a friendly group. People have all different opinions. It never gets ugly. It's respectful. I have a feeling most of us are maybe a little bit older. So if you don't want to fight with stans on Twitter, come over to the Patreon. We're nice. Thank you to everyone who participates in these polls every week. Let's get to it because I have a lot to talk about. I feel like I've been gone for a couple weeks, and if you know me, you know I have a lot to say. So I don't want to waste any more time in this intro. Let's dive into the show and get to some poll results. Very heavy on Stray Kids tonight, a lot of Stray Kids questions. So before we get to that, Newjeans and HYBE, there's a major drama happening with the label that Newjeans are on, Adore. Their CEO is being ousted by HYBE. She's filed an injunction to stop a lot of things from happening, including most of her staff being let go and the girls being shelved for a year and a half. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of drama. I'll get to the details at the end of the show in the news segment. But I asked you, where do you think Newjeans will be a year from now? Because to me, it's an interesting question. I don't know how the chips are going to fall for these young ladies. I'm genuinely worried about them. I feel so bad for them. So I had to ask you, where do you think Newjeans will be a year from now? Will they be active on HYBE? Will they be hidden on HYBE with no new releases or on a totally different label? My listeners and viewers, 67% of you voted active on HYBE. 17% said hidden on HYBE with no new releases. So, and another 17% said on a different label. I think it's going to be a mix. I don't think HYBE will let them go. We've seen that HYBE likes to buy out the competition and then disband the groups or bury them and never let them have a comeback again. They did that with the girl groups of every label they bought. If you think about it, they used 17. They love getting 17's numbers, but they immediately disbanded GFriend, who were really doing well in their career at that point. There was no reason for that. Promise 9, Where have they been? They've literally set them out so they could create their own girl groups. So I wouldn't put that past HYBE at all. I don't think they'll ever let Newjeans go. They're too petty to let them go do something else. So, and I don't think they'll totally sit them out because they want to make that money. But I don't know how active they're going to be. I think things are a little scary if you're a Newjeans fan and if you're a Newjeans member. I wish that they could just get out. I wish everyone on Adore could just all go together and do something else with a whole different entity and not have to deal with this. But HYBE has shown us they're not the type to. They're not going to play it that way. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm reviewing Lose My Breath from Stray Kids featuring Charlie Puth tonight. This has been a really controversial single in the world of K-pop, specifically in the world of stays. All of you know I'm a massive stay. I ride harder for Stray Kids than any other group. That's probably why a lot of you listen to me. That's probably why a lot of you watch my show every week. I've been a big champion for Stray Kids since 2020 when I reviewed them on my last podcast. I famously said this will be the biggest group in the world in a few years. Here we are. Duh, obviously. So I ride hard for Stray Kids on this show. Neutral. It's neutral because it's a music review show. I review music. I talk about what's going on in K-pop. I will give you my opinion on stuff, but it's a Stray Kids release, so I made the choice that I will be reviewing it. A lot of stays boycotted this due to Charlie Puth. A lot of stays actively supported it. This is a neutral, safe space. If you boycotted or if you supported, neutral. I hear you. I think I have some personal opinions that will probably flow over during the review tonight. But I had to ask all of you if you are you boycotting this single or not? 78% of my listeners and viewers said no. 22% said yes. And I would implore you to head over to the Patreon, find that question, and read the comments because I think Billy and Dee both made great points on both sides of the argument, why they're boycotting and why they're not boycotting. I think sometimes fandoms we're so passionate, right? As fans, you're so passionate. You forget that everyone doesn't have the same worldview as you. We all have different lenses that we view this world by. And sometimes there is a gray area, but it's hard for people to see that when they're so emphatic that they're right. There's a lot of right fighters. Again, I have an opinion on a way bigger issue than K-pop that this boycott is based around. But it's been a pretty ugly time in Stayville. So I was really relieved and not surprised to see that my community kept it civil, had a mature conversation about why they made the choice they did. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I really don't. I think if you want to you love and support everything Stray Kids do, and you're going to support them no matter what, good for you. That's great. They've got a really great fan. I also think if you say, I don't support Charlie Puth, I don't want to be a part of anything he does. I don't want to give him a penny. And I'm really disappointed that Stray Kids did this. I will not be supporting this single. I support that. I completely understand that. I don't think you have to blindly support everything your favorite artist does to be considered a fan. It's fair to be upset and disappointed. So there's multiple sides to this. I get it. And I thank you all for participating and for being just mature and intelligent. And yeah, I love my community, but most of my community are not boycotting the song. So then I had to ask, what grade would you give Stray Kids Lose My Breath? When I ask that question on polls, it's usually just A, B, C, or below. So that's what I did for this one. 78% of you gave it a B, 11% A, and 11% C or below. Interesting. You're going to get my thoughts soon. Yeah, this is an interesting release from Stray Kids. Yeah, I will say I didn't give it a B. So I'm not with you all on this one. It's not a B from me. We got to get to the review in a second. But I want to congratulate Stray Kids on the Met Gala. I haven't been on air since the Met Gala. If you follow my personal Twitter, I was tweeting up a storm. Of course I was. I'm so excited for those boys. Personally, I want to thank Tommy Hilfiger because he did a wonderful job. He showed a lot of respect. I thought the detailing was beautiful. They all looked very handsome. Really, really, really proud of Stray Kids. Really proud. They're just killing it. And on top of that, they're all on the cover of W Korea. We've got 8 different covers out this week, and they're all addressed by a different designer. As you know, a lot of them already have deals in place with high-end brands. Lino was just at the Gucci show this week. He's signed with Gucci. Of course, Hyunjin is signed with Versace. Felix is Louis Vuitton. There's a lot happening. So it got me thinking, it's really cool to see them all with different designers on the cover. But if, as a fandom, we could pick one of these designers to dress the entire group, who do you think would be the best designer? So I put up all 8 designers. So you have Fendi, Chan is in Fendi, Gucci, which is, of course, Lino, Dolce & Gabbana, which was Changbin, Versace, Hyunjin, Balmain, which was Han, Lo, Sungmin, Louis Vuitton, which is Felix, and Alexander McQueen, IN. This one is super interesting. 50% of my listeners and viewers voted for McQueen, Alexander McQueen. 25% said Gucci, 25% picked Versace. Great choices. I think McQueen, you guys are so smart. I think McQueen might be the right choice for them. As a group collectively, what Alexander McQueen does, really cool, edgy, exciting, but still some class, still really sophisticated. I don't want to see them in anything boring, but I also don't, how avant-garde are we going to go? McQueen, Alexander McQueen pushes boundaries for sure. Pushes boundaries, but does it in a cool, classy, badass way. That fits Stray Kids. Completely agree. Awesome response, everyone. Again, if you'd like to participate in the polls, head on over to the Patreon. Let's get the show started. It's time for this review. We're sticking with Stray Kids. In case you don't know who Stray Kids are, Stray Kids, 8-member boy group, debuted on JYP in 2018. This is a single. It's an English language song featuring Charlie Puth. As I mentioned, there's a lot of controversy in the fandom about this song. It relates to Charlie Puth being labeled perhaps a Zionist and people not wanting to support a Zionist, considering what's going on in Gaza. Not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the song. So here's the thing. This sounds like a Charlie Puth song. If you're familiar with Charlie Puth, that should tell you a lot. Three Racha, Stray Kids, Three Racha, who write, produce, do all of the Stray Kids songs, that production group of Changbin, Han, and Bangchan, they share writing credits on this. And they mentioned helping produce it, but interestingly, they weren't credited for production. The production credits are Charlie Puth and Johnny Goldstein. I've got to be real with you. To me, listening, that actually tracks. I didn't hear a lot of Three Racha's production in this. This sounded much more like something that Charlie Puth has produced. And the sound that stays are used to is not here in this song. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we need to allow our favorites to experiment with sounds, to evolve, to grow, to try new stuff. You try new stuff, it doesn't always stick, and it might not be good. But you stick with the same thing over and over again. Not only does that get boring to your fans, but I think as an artist that gets boring. So I'm never mad. That's not a knock when I say it doesn't sound like Stray Kids sound. It's just a little bit different. This is just a little bit different. I will say, and here's where I might lose some fans and listeners myself tonight, because I'm going to be honest about this song. To me, Lose My Breath, it has that production that's really basic and boring and dumbed down for an American audience. It's not even close to the sophistication we're used to hearing from Stray Kids. So it's kind of following the path of like BTS, right? BTS did songs with Charlie Puth. BTS did all these kind of dumbed down American English language songs. This is following that path. So, I mean, is the song horrible? It depends. Like, are you a fan of Charlie Puth? Do you like Charlie Puth? I've never been a massive fan of his. I've enjoyed 2 songs. I like obviously See You Again. But I liked that one because of my fellow Pittsburghianser Wiz Khalifa. And then I liked We Don't Talk Anymore with Selena Gomez, which again, I think I liked it because of Selena Gomez's presence in that song. I've never really been a huge fan of Charlie Puth. To be even more blunt, I thought his song with Jungkook, that Left and Right song, was really not good. It was not, that wasn't my taste. I really couldn't stand that song. And I was so disappointed because I love Jungkook. And obviously, he's gone on to kill it. His solo debut was phenomenal. And he was able to, I think, work with artists and writers who maybe got him as an artist a little bit better. I just didn't, that Left and Right song, the music video, the whole thing, yeah, not my favorite. Lose My Breath is better than Left and Right, thankfully. I want to say that. I'm not saying this is the worst song ever. It's far from that. This is not a terrible song. But this song doesn't work for me. So Charlie Puth has a really high, whiny voice. Like, I know he brags all the time about his perfect pitch and he's so he's so talented. That's fine, but his voice doesn't please my ear. Personally, that's not a voice that I'm running to listen to. And I think because of that, they set this song in a key that is way higher than we're used to hearing Stray Kids in. And Stray Kids can do it. They're so multi-talented. Their rappers can sing in that key. It's not an issue, but it's just not that like pleasing to the ear. It's very high and very strained. Chan starts things off. He nails his part. Han comes in. I love Han's part. His voice opens up. It's very, very nice. All 8 members do a great job with what they have to do. They really do. Like Changbin has some nice moments. His voice sounds very different. So that was exciting. Good for him. I've got to say, though, I thought the star vocally was Hyunjin. And I say that because he comes in at the start of the second verse, and it is such a breath of fresh air after hearing Charlie Puth on that chorus to have Hyunjin's lower tone come in. That's a nice contrast. And it just like really worked. His voice was very distinguishable. And I think in the production of this song, a lot of the voices blend together too much. There are some effects here that I could pinpoint. So I loved when Hyunjin came in because there was a difference in his voice. And then Felix follows him, of course, with that deep, very distinct sound. So that was probably my favorite part of the song. Yeah, I'm just not a Charlie Puth fan. And I went into it very open minded. I tried not to read anything or watch anything like making of the song. I just wanted to listen to the song and give you guys my honest opinion because that's what I'm here to do is review the music. I just, that high whiny voice, like his voice on the bridge, ugh, no. Like, I think if this was just a Stray Kids song, I would still say kudos to them for trying something new, but this isn't my favorite thing they've done. Charlie Puth just makes it like worse because I don't like his voice that much. So this song is not for me. This song is so far away from anything that I would want to listen to over and over again. And I'm disappointed, and I'm never disappointed in Stray Kids. I want to point that out. Never disappointed in Stray Kids. But I think Stray Kids, they're already huge in America. They already have all the support. So it's disappointing that their team, their management, everyone around them pushed them into doing this because they didn't need to. And I don't know if K-pop companies, K-pop idols, whoever don't understand, but like Charlie Puth is not a big deal over here. Charlie Puth is like, he's not who you collab with. He's not a big deal. I don't know why K-pop idols are like obsessed with collaborating with Charlie Puth. If you want to collaborate with someone who has a good voice, who maybe like is a bigger deal, do like Justin Bieber. Justin can actually sing, and he's a huge, huge star over here. Like Charlie Puth is not a star in America. Most people couldn't name 3 Charlie Puth songs. I don't think they could name 2. They're all going to say the Wiz Khalifa one from Fast and the Furious. Like, let's get real. It's not the worst song ever. It's just not my cup of tea, and I think it's pretty forgettable. And Stray Kids are anything but forgettable. They're the most exciting, wild, dynamic group in K-pop. So to me, this song doesn't really represent them. It's not the end of the world. It's one song, and everyone's not going to like everything. It feels like, again, kind of like BTS Dynamite, and I do think that's a better song, but it feels like that. Like we're ushering in the era of watered down, American radio friendly songs that don't encompass the group that I fell in love with. So I hope I'm wrong with that. I hope this is just a one off, and the comeback in July is, yes, the Stray Kids we love, and not Charlie Puth songs that they're singing on. Yeah, in case you can't tell, I'm not a huge fan of Charlie Puth. And this is just musically, like, take away the reason that all the fans are boycotting. Like, I just genuinely, that's not my voice. That's not my vibe. I don't know him. He could be a very nice person. Who knows? But the music isn't my favorite. And I also thought it was very interesting that Stray Kids said that they did the production with him. They helped on the production and they got 0 credit for it. That's how the American music industry works. It's difficult, and they're not going to let outsiders in without getting paid. So I see this as a payoff of sorts, an initiation of sorts into the American scene. You have to make, I guess, crappy songs with Charlie Puth. I don't know. I don't know. But hopefully this is it. That was hard. It's hard. I always joked, like I like to view myself as fair, and one day maybe I would give Stray Kids a not great review. They just had never given me any music I wasn't obsessed with and really excited about. So in 4 years, this is like the only negative review I've ever given of Stray Kids. And it's not even negative. It's just like, this doesn't work for me. Not the end of the world. I'm still very excited about this comeback. Let's talk about the music video though, because in the music video, thank the heavens, Charlie Puth isn't in it. Charlie Puth's not in the music video. So I wish they would have just taken his voice out and like just done a Stray Kids version. Apparently that version's coming. But that's a bright spot. That's a real bright spot. So this music video, I think, is really beautiful. All 8 members look so handsome. Shout out to Ian. Ian is like, he's trouble. He is looking amazing these days. Facial structure on point. Yes. Hyunjin. I mean, come on. Hyunjin is a supermodel at this point. He literally, like, it's a gasp when he comes on the screen. The camera loves him. He has such a presence. He is so, so strikingly handsome. It's unfair for someone to keep getting better looking when you start at his level. It's like, come on, you're already so handsome. And then he gets better and better looking as he gets older. He looks phenomenal. I love the scene when he's in the rain. Whoever did this music video, I feel like whoever did the music video was like, listen, fans, I get it. The song's not great. I will give you an amazing music video. Thank you to JYP, everyone who did this music video, because the music video is infinitely better than the song. I love this video. I liked the way it was shot. I thought the lighting and profiles of their faces, stunning. Really, really. They look so handsome. Let's give a shout out to Lino. I feel like Lino was the star of this music video. He's center for the most important parts of the choreography. Yes. Okay, Lino. and it really fit him. The choreography is interesting because they do the first half very slow. They're actually showing you the breathing. I love that. I love the restraint because so much movement can come from small movements. And they're such trained, talented dancers, specifically at this point in their career, that you just see it. Oh, it's wonderful. And then the second half of the chorus, they move very quickly with intricate, cool choreography. Choreography really worked. So shout out to them for that. I think this is a hard song to do choreography to because it's kind of like a mid-tempo, Charlie Puth song. It's not your typical K-pop song that you do kind of hard-hitting, aggressive choreography to. So I think they balance that very well. The bridge part with Hyunjin Center is my favorite. Let's get real. That's the sexiest, coolest part, in my opinion. I'm a little biased though. But I thought the music video worked. I'm not a huge fan of the song. Music videos really, really beautiful. They look great. And I love to see Lino featured. I think like when you're on the dance line with Hyunjin and Felix, that's difficult because they both steal attention so much. Lino's finally getting his moment at the Gucci show this week, center for this comeback. Yes. Yes, Lino. Love it. Okay. So stays, please don't come at me and stop coming at each other. The aggression. It reminds me of politics. It reminds me of watching Democrats and Republicans go at each other with nothing but hatred. Like, my opinion's right. This is the only way to think. This is the only thing to believe. And if you're not with me, you're the enemy. That's the way stays were treating each other during this comeback. Again, I think you can have an opinion, but the thing is, K-pop has brought us all together. Stray Kids brought us into this fandom for a reason. It unites us. So it's pretty frustrating when there's such strong division. I hope that that can cool off in time for the comeback, because as much as I hate to say this, Stray Kids are in the music industry, and the music industry is full of Charlie Puths. So if Charlie Puth and what he may or may not stand for bothers you, the head of Republic Records, Republic is tied into Universal, the head of Universal Records, all of it. If you look who's behind all of the stuff that Stray Kids are now attached to in the Western side of the market, the music industry, you're going to be pretty upset and disappointed. So I think it's hard. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. But Charlie Puth isn't the first, and he's not going to be the last person that might have beliefs and values that are different from what some fans would like. So again, it's a personal fan choice. It's hard to separate things sometimes, and I don't think you have to. I think it's fine to say, you know what, I don't want to support anything that person does because of my values, morals, and this is how I feel. That's your choice. Other people separate it and they say, I don't care, I like the music, whatever. People are people. We all have different thoughts and beliefs. Hopefully everyone can come together, because it's sad to see that, but I don't think it's shocking. I think around this point in BTS's career, when they came out with Dynamite, ARMY had started becoming that way. Things get very toxic. When you're the biggest group in the world, people join the fandom for reasons that have nothing to do with the music. And then there's a lot of discourse. So my only advice would be do what's best for you. Keep yourself healthy and happy. And if that means completely disengaging from a fandom, you can do that. You can do that. It's hard with the way this K-pop world is set up to all of a sudden say, like, I don't really identify with that fandom anymore. I don't want to be a part of this. Oh, but I love this music so much. It's okay. You can do that. If you've listened to me and you've watched me and you know my kind of K-pop journey, I love BTS. They got me into K-pop. I still love BTS. And specifically this past year, I've gone back and listened to a lot of old BTS on a consistent basis. I love them. I think there's factions of that fandom that I don't relate with or really want to mess with. That's me. It doesn't mean I'm not a huge fan. It doesn't mean at the end of the day I don't support them, but too much ugly behavior. It's just like watching your friends make a lot of bad choices. Do you stick with them no matter what, or do you kind of do your own thing? It's a personal choice. There's no right or wrong, but I would just say do what's best for your mental health. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be fun for a lot of fans. This is escapism from the stress of life. If K-pop is causing you stress, it's time to just take a breather and do what's best for you. I will be here to talk about the music and to review the music. To be clear, I love Stray Kids. I support Stray Kids. I'm excited for their comeback in July. This was a miss for me. This was a disappointing collaboration for me. It happens. It's not the end of the world. Time to move on. Before I move on, it's time to talk biases. If you don't know, my bias in Stray Kids is Hyunjin. Hyunjin is like alt, alt, alt. He's everything to me. I adore him. My record all over the place, you guys. All over the place. It has changed so drastically recently. But to be real, Sugmin has really been up there for me. I think personality wise, he's so funny. He's really won me over watching all of their content over the years. And then they just finally freed his forehead and he became like the most handsome man ever. But I also have to say on my record line, it's Chan. Bang Chan, he's always been on my record line. For a hot minute at the beginning, he was my original bias. And there's something about him that I think is so lovable. Like, I'm not sure if you guys watched the behind the scenes for the Met Gala. There's a lot. But there was one thing when Tommy Hilfiger comes in and talks to them. And obviously, Felix and Chan are talking to him. And Chan's like, "Do you have any advice? I'm a little nervous." And he's like, "Oh, just be yourselves. You guys just be yourselves. You'll be great." And Chan said something like, "Yeah, well, if you tell Stray Kids to be ourselves, that's chaotic. We're really chaotic. So I don't know if that's a good idea." He was so funny and like charming. I think his personality, if you were in a room with all of them, he would be the first one to try to make you feel at ease. He has that type of personality, which I find so endearing and attractive. And then on top of it all, he's just like the most talented person in the world. When you want to talk about talent in K-pop, that dude is a genius. So Chan right now is my number one wrecker. I'm big fan. And again, like, song wasn't for me, but I love my boys. I love Stray Kids. Very excited for this comeback. I want to talk about another one of my favorite groups, perhaps my favorite girl group. Actually, no, for sure, my favorite girl group from fourth generation, aespa. aespa is a 4-member girl group. They debuted on SM Entertainment in 2020. We've got a new album coming. It's Armageddon time for the ladies of aespa. But first, we're getting some singles. We're getting some pre-releases. They hit us with one this week that I have to talk about. It's called Supernova. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, aespa. Thank you. aespa are not the cute girls to play with. They are supernovas. Like, they're serving notice on this. And I think reminding the K-pop world, they're not the girls that you mess with. The beat is addictive from the jump. I want to give a major shout out to Dem Joints. That's the producer of this track. He's done a lot of tracks, specifically on SM, that I love. Yes, this beat, this production, phenomenal. Obsessed with it. From the very beginning, I was like, oh my God, this is good. And it didn't let me down. It just kept going and going and going. It's a hype song. I love that zipper effect in the beat. The chorus is so good. Like, this chorus, it makes me want to do a supermodel walk down the longest runway while like flicking off haters. Like, it is that song. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fresh, it's fun, it's sassy, spunky, and also powerful. Again, these aren't the girls you play with. They're those girls. Like, aespa are those girls. It feels different than what other K-pop girl groups are doing. This is so different sonically, sound-wise, than what all their contemporaries are doing. Smart. In my eyes, aespa are the leaders of the pack by far. If you want to talk about like the new generation and you want to talk about girl groups, aespa, 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 aespa. They've been those girls. They are those girls right now, and they're still going to be those girls. And all the other labels are desperately chase and try to step on them, like Bang PD desperately wanted to do and tried to do. They're still here. They're not like chasing fads and doing something that's just super trendy and then forgettable the following year. aespa have a very specific point of view, look, sound, vibe, and they give you something different with every release. I love it. I absolutely love it. This song I've had on repeat all week. Supernova is my song. I'm obsessed with this song. I also really love the sample of this one. It's Planet Rock. Do you guys, total throwback, Africa Boombada, 1982 Planet Rock. So some of you might recognize it specifically in the bridge, that breakdown, you really hear it. So cool. Love it. Love it. Let's be honest. Yeah, after everything that just came out, there were other companies actively plotting against aespa. I am thrilled to see them come back with a song like this. Like, let's go. I'm ready to fight with and for aespa. They didn't deserve to be targeted the way they were, but it's not surprising because when you're on top, even if the general public may not see it, the people behind the scenes knew aespa were those girls. That was going to be their number one competition. They're still those girls. And they don't need voice lessons. So that's what else I just want to point out about aespa compared to other girl groups. aespa can sing. They can sing live. They have really unique voices. All four of them can show up with a microphone and perform live. There's talent on this group that you can't replace. You can't buy it. They're actually like super charismatic and talented. So I could talk about aespa all day. Like, I will fight for those girlies. I think they're so talented. They deserve the world. And I'm so proud of them for coming back after all of this controversy and killing it. And for the record, they didn't do anything wrong. There's no controversy with them. They've just been doing their thing and killing it. And, like their song, they've got better things to do with their time. But HYBE made it very clear in a text message that Bang PD sent saying, can you step on aespa? Will your group be able to beat aespa? He clearly saw aespa as a threat. There's a clip on YouTube of a couple of members of La Seraphim and a couple of members of aespa like doing some variety show. And the La Seraphim girls say, oh, your comeback's coming up on the 9th, right? And the aespa girls are like, what? Like, SM hadn't even told them yet when their comeback was going to be. But these girls from another label already knew. Come on. Y'all, again, like, I think it's just so misguided. They're not your competition. Microphones are your competition. Get some voice lessons and then worry about stomping on them. But until you do that, like, the talent wins out in the end. Authenticity and talent went out in the end. So, whatever. Good luck. Good luck. Anyway, I'm going to get canceled for this show. Excuse me while I drink my tea. Okay, let's talk about this music video. I don't even know what's going on and I don't care. I don't know if they're aliens, fallen superheroes, like floating vampires. Whatever they are, I love it. They literally crash into the scene like badasses and cause chaos. It's exciting. It's edgy. This is just so my taste. I love this so much. And again, it feels very different compared to what other girl groups are doing. aespa perform, like they do some acting in this. They all look stunning and beautiful, but they're committed to the storyline and what the directors tell them to do. So they're not like posing all the time and just trying to look pretty. They're actually like real badasses. But don't worry, there's tons of pretty face serving to the camera from the four members of aespa. I love the quick edits. I think the styling is on point. There's humor in it too. I liked when Giselle was looking at her phone and something popped up that's like, your birthday is tomorrow. And she's like, oh. And she sits there with her birthday cake alone. There's some like funny, interesting scenes in this music video. And I really, really like the contrast of the dance scenes. You have like this fast, crazy, exciting music video happening. And then you get dance sequences that aren't as many cuts, that are more so the viewer can see the choreography. Thank you for that. Because I hate in music videos where they cut so much during the dance sequence that you can't see more than a second of the choreography at the time. Yes, this was perfect. It was like fun chaos dance. The bridge dance break is perfect. Love it. Very, very cool. There's also this part in this music video, like towards the end, where their mouths are moving, I think it's backwards with the song. It's totally weird. It's totally weird and bizarre, and I'm here for it. I'm here for their supernova phase. I'm here for whatever this is. I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting. And I'm just so happy for aespa. I'm so happy for them. This is an amazing comeback. I think the album's going to be really strong. I hope it is. When you start at this supernova level, ooh, I hope the rest of the album lives up to this because this is like, I'm obsessed with this song, you guys. I've just been listening to it on repeat. And it's one of those songs that, again, it makes me feel like a badass when I listen to it. Like I am strutting my stuff walking down the street with Freddie when this song is on. I feel it's a confidence booster hype song. So if you need one of those songs, put this on your playlist immediately. This is, yeah, aespa. Those are my girls, and they killed it. Let's talk biases. My aespa bias from day one has been the beautiful, stunning Karina. My wrecker has changed so many times. Like, Ning Ning is wrecker, but then when I saw them in person, when I saw them in concert in LA last year, I was captivated by Winter. I think Winter is such an interesting idol. She's so different looking. She's very unique looking, and she's very tiny. She's like a little fairy with this big, powerful voice. And there's some quirkiness to her. So I love her too. And then I think Giselle is also a really strong presence. Like she's great. So all four of these members bring a lot to the table. But yeah, my girl Karina, that's my girl. So congratulations, aespa. Love the song. I'm excited for this comeback. Comeback is in a couple weeks. I'm seated. I'm ready to go. Let's move on. I told you this was a stacked show. We have Stray Kids, we have aespa, and now it's time to talk about ZEROBASEONE. ZEROBASEONE, ZB1 for short, 9-member boy group. They debuted in 2023 last year on Wake One Entertainment. They were on a reality competition show that was hugely popular. So they really started off with a strong fan base. The new EP is called You Had Me at Hello. They gave us 7 songs. Pre-release track was called Sweat. And the title track, the single, is Feel the Pop. Okay. This one's like, I think there's some good and bad in this one. This was a little hit and miss for me. Is that a xylophone in the verses? That kind of harp xylophone back and forth thing stands out to me the most in this song. And I think it's one of those things that some people might not even notice. It may not be a big deal. They might like it. For other people, it could be a little grating and annoying. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite element, but it doesn't like totally ruin the song for me. This is a light, airy, kind of breezy feel, not the most dynamic title track, a little bit more chill and restrained, which can sometimes work. And I think we're seeing a trend of that in K-pop. It definitely feels a little bit young. I think that kind of the xylophone sound and having pop, the word in the title, gives it a young feel. The chorus is very pleasant. There's a little bit of a drum and bass thing here. We're still hearing that a lot in K-pop. And it's catchy. I mean, I think the chorus itself is catchy. It did stay in my head. So there's some stuff here that's pretty good. But I thought Sweat was infinitely better. I would have made that the title track. And I think this could have been the pre-release. What do you guys think? I'll put a poll question up. I'm interested in what you think. I don't think it's Feel the Pop is a bad song. I just don't think it's nearly as dynamic and interesting and fun as Sweat. Let's talk about the music video though, because this music video, oh, guys, I don't know if this worked for me. It's one of those things where you have something in your head when you hear a song and the video is so different. And sometimes that works really well. And then other times I just couldn't totally give over to the concept. I think it was the cowboy theme was just so unexpected. I just didn't work for me. The black cowboy outfits with that like drab brown background. And I see the vision, it brightens up throughout the music video. Something about the styling felt like Halloween-ish to me. It just didn't totally work. I will say the second verse, when they're in like the preppy outfits and there's like the pool kind of tennis court scene, I liked that a lot more than like the urban cowboy theme. That to me kind of felt a little more natural with the song. So I liked that concept. And then at the end, like I loved that the styling, the visuals where everything's bright. That worked best for me, honestly. I really liked that. All 9 members looked good. Shout out to Ricky with that fire red hair. Fire. I mean, striking. All of them looked really handsome. I just wasn't a huge fan of the concept of this music video. I like the choreography though. Ooh, Zero Base One is getting sassy with this choreography, and I'm here for it. I liked the choreography for this one quite a bit. I was a little bit surprised by that choreography in a good way. Yeah, I'm here for it. The cowboy outfits and stuff just didn't work. The theme of the music video wasn't my favorite, but it's not bad, and the song isn't bad. It's not. It's fine. And the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. I just think there were stronger songs on this EP. So let's talk about the EP. My album picks: Sweat, Sunday Ride, and Hello. Sweat, the pre-release single, I think should have been the title track. It is the perfect summer song. It gets you into a happy groove, strong vocal performance, a lot more dynamic and fun than like Feel the Pop. There's bounce and brightness to this one that I really love. There's just a real ooh, fun feel. And it kind of feels like a quintessential K-pop song. I like the feel of this song, Sweat. Sunday Ride reminds me of that Surfaces song, Sunday Best. It's not just because they have Sunday in the title, but the vibe is very similar. It's a feel-good Sunday. I like the production here. Some very nice harmonies, cool piano that gives it more of a jazzy feel. Both Sweat and Sunday Ride use the rapapum that you hear a lot in K-pop for lyrics. It's kind of a K-pop trope, but I'm not mad at it. It works. It works. Everything doesn't have to be brand new and super inventive. There are certain things that work and you hear them all the time in K-pop because they work. So I thought that was interesting. I love both these songs, and lyrically, they both have the rapapums in them. But Sunday Ride's just, it's a good song. And then Hello, the ender, the dramatic ballad. The music at the beginning of this one is so heavy and emotional and dramatic. Beautiful, beautiful ballad. It showcases their strong vocals. These guys can really sing. I love it when they harmonize. That's the fun of vocal groups, of K-pop groups. Um, some emotional performances here. Congratulations to Zero Base One. They really put in vulnerable, emotional vocal performances in this. So kudos to them. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to Matthew. I thought he had some very nice moments. And Tay. Oh, Tay just, I leaned in when he was singing. I thought it was so beautiful and emotional and powerful. It's a beautiful song. It's a love song. It's that like cheesy line, "You had me at hello." For anyone that's old enough to remember, that's from Jerry Maguire. Renee Zellweger says it to Tom Cruise. It's it's a love song, but it feels very meaningful when you don't understand the lyrics, you don't understand the words. This felt heavy and meaningful. It was very emotional. So I loved this song. I think this is a good EP. This was a nice project from Zero Base One. I don't love every song, so I can't say it's a no skip album, but I like a lot of this, specifically the second half. I thought that was great. I didn't need the sped up version of the single. It's like, I get it. People have no attention span and want to hear everything sped up for TikTok, I guess. That's not my vibe. I didn't need that, but they're a young group, so I understand. Here are my rankings from You Had Me at Hello, the new EP by Zero Base One. As always, this is from least favorite to favorite. I do think this is a really great project, however. Number 7, Feel the Pop sped up version. I didn't really need that. Number 6, Solar Power. Number 5, Dear Eclipse. Number 4, the title track, Feel the Pop. Number 3, Hello, beautiful ballad. Number 2, Sweat. I would have made Sweat the title track. I think it was a much better single. And my number 1 song, for whatever reason, this was the song that I keep coming back to on this EP. It's Sunday Ride. It's a good mood song. I love it. Congratulations, Zero Base One. Another solid comeback from the 9 members. I'm sure they're proud, and I think Zeroses are very proud and very excited about this comeback. So congratulations. Before I move on, it's time to talk biases. My bias in this group, he was the number 1 contestant on the reality show that formed Zero Base One. It's Hao. It's Zhang Hao. I just think he's very dynamic. He's a great singer, wonderful dancer. He steals focus for me. My record goes all over the place. I think there's a lot of interesting members in Zero Base One. There's kind of someone for everyone. My record right now, it's Hanbin. I'm here for him. Hanbin has won me over as one of the hosts on M Countdown. He currently co-hosts with Jaehyun from Boy Next Door and Sohee from Rise. They're quite the trio. So he's my wrecker. Congratulations to Zero Base One. Wonderful comeback. Let's move on to some K-pop news. Here's what's happened in the world of K-pop since I last spoke to you. All right, I'll try to keep this short because there's so much happening, but HYBE and Newjeans battle is not slowing down. So, it came out that HYBE already had people lined up to take over Adore before all of this scandal broke. Adore, they filed an injunction to stop HYBE from kind of overthrowing their CEO. It's a disaster. So, one of the interesting things is the CEO, I always forget her name, so forgive me, Min Hyjin, I think that's her name. She shared an email that the Newjeans parents sent her. They sent, the parents of these poor girls had emailed her saying all of their concerns. So in it, there's a lot of stuff, but they said that they didn't understand like why Bang PD is so rude to their girls. Like when they see him, they would bow and greet him, and he would never speak to them and keep walking. Meanwhile, he's besties with La Seraphim and the other girl group that I don't talk about on the show. So that was hurtful for the Newjeans girls and for their parents. That's a very, very big deal in Korea to not acknowledge a greeting, right? So there was other stuff in it too. There's a lot happening. The plan for Newjeans now, supposedly they're still going on with their comeback and tour. And then after that, they're going to sit them for a year and a half while they get them a whole new team and find a Grammy award-winning producer for them. They don't need that. Their songs are amazing. They don't need that. It's funny because Bang PD still doesn't seem to understand how the Grammys work. He really doesn't get it. And you would think after everything with BTS, he would have understood the politics behind it. And that's how you win Grammys. It doesn't matter who produces the track. Get in touch with reality here, dude. You're so far away from your goal if that's your goal. But okay. Anyways, so there's a lot in that email. Then HYBE came out and said that's a total lie. She fabricated the email. That never happened. The parents did not send her that email. The parents then called reporters and went on the record and said, yes, we did. Now, like, she's not lying. That's the email we sent to her. So HYBE has viciously kind of refuted everything that's come out on the Adore side, but they haven't provided any evidence on their side of anything. One of their people said he didn't greet Newjeans because he has a medical condition where he has face blindness. Isn't that convenient? And then people brought it up, like the brainwashed army who support HYBE no matter what. Oh, yeah, like he used to do that with V all the time. He never recognized him and said he didn't know who he was. And that's why he did that too. You guys, maybe he did that because he's a jerk and he was asserting power and tearing people down and playing psychological games. Just saying. That's just a theory. To me, not acknowledging Newjeans and treating them terribly, even though they're doing better than any of the other groups, he's doing that because it's all a power and control thing. He really resented that there was a wall up between him and Newjeans, and he wasn't directly responsible for them, that somebody else was the one producing and coming up with the genius of that group. So he was upset. It's all power and control. He didn't have control over those girls in the way that he has control over all these other groups. So of course he's going to be besties with Les Seraphim, and of course he's going to hate Newjeans. It's ridiculous. It's not surprising, but it's cruel and it's ridiculous. And at the end of the day, all these groups have underage girls and kids who are pawns for these like greedy, narcissist, asshole CEO types. So, anyways, it's also interesting that the current CEO of HYBE, he used to be at a video game company, gaming, obviously huge. And he's getting a lot of flack because one of the video games that he created was super misogynistic and disgusting sexually, like really gross. And that's the CEO of the company. So, birds of a feather. I think you are who you associate with. If that's the CEO that he was appointed when he stepped down as CEO, and if he's besties with Scooter Braun and wanted to make sure Scooter Braun got BTS money, that's who this guy is. Let's be real. I will never understand why anyone defends him and defends HYBE. And I would ask all of the army who are so brainwashed at this point, do you think BTS loves this guy? Because I think these fans defend him more than BTS would. I really do. I think BTS are stuck. They're in these contracts forever. They couldn't walk if they wanted to. Trust me. So anyways, it's clear whose side I'm on in all of this. And I'm not a massive fan of the head of Adore. I think she's messy and there's a lot of issues with her as well. But all of this, if you're looking at what's come out in the public eye so far, Adore's winning because they're showing receipts. HYBE isn't showing anything. They come out and just say, that's a lie. Okay. And now, of course, they're suing. They're suing her because she's swaying the press. What? I don't know. I don't know. Korean culture is very different. So obviously there's different laws around that stuff, but it's all like, I just don't understand how people still blindly support HYBE when, to me, it's very, very obvious what's happening. It's Newjeans girls are getting screwed. They're in the worst situation possible now. I mean, literally saying they're going to sit them for a year and a half when they were the biggest group last year. They did more for K-pop last year than any group, period. End of story. It's not even close. So it's really frustrating. I'll keep you guys updated, but it's not looking great for those girls, and I feel very, very bad for them. Anyways, let's talk about comebacks. Nayeon from Twice, her solo comeback is June 14th. Stray Kids, July 19th. We've got the massive Stray Kids comeback. Very interested in what's going to happen with this. What is the sound going to be like? What direction are they going in? And HYBE come back in July, week before Stray Kids, July 12th. Idol released their world tour dates. Even just announced a tour. And they also have a comeback on June 17th. SM has a lot of strong albums dropping soon. We've got aespa's new album, Suho and Chen new albums coming out, Red Velvet, Wavy. A lot of SM releases to look forward to. A lot of good K-pop music to look forward to. Also, happy 9th birthday to Monsta X. Monsta X has been around for 9 years already. Can you believe it? I miss Monsta X. K-pop is not the same without those guys. Like, I need them to get out of the military like faster than anyone. Genuinely. Ugh. So happy 9th birthday to Monsta X. I miss you very, very much. I'm really looking forward to them coming back. K-pop does not hit the same when Monsta X isn't around. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for being here. I love K-pop. Most importantly, I love music. I love talking about it. I love sharing it with people, sharing this experience with all of you. Thank you for allowing me into your life. And again, thank you for being so understanding through this period of my life. With New York City K-pop Queens, I never missed a week. I sacrificed a lot to make sure new shows came out every week for 156 weeks. In K-pop Weekly, I'm doing this alone, and it's a little more difficult to get shows out. And my life circumstances right now are in a place that makes it extremely difficult. So I really appreciate you all coming back and sticking with me. If there won't be a new show, I announced it on social media. Check Instagram and Twitter. On Thursday, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll be here next week. Let's try to be kind to each other, even if we maybe are on different sides of the coin. If you love K-pop, you have something in common. Start there and lead with love. Stays, don't become ARMY. Don't let it go to that level, because a lot of really good people are going to just say, I don't want to deal with this anymore, and back away. Let's stay united as much as we can. One song that you don't support or that some other people didn't support, it shouldn't end the fandom and be the end of the world. Come back in July. Let's get it together and move forward as a unified fandom. Make sure you check out the newsletter. Playlist will be up on Patreon. Join the Patreon. I'm going to have some questions for you. Thank you for joining me. I love you. I will see you soon. Bye.